Last night, the Phillies beat the Brewers bullpen again, this time via a walk-off home run. On this trip, the crew has hit plenty, but hasn't scored enough to beat the NL East. Tonight, the soup is on for Game 3. Philadelphia, PA, and the site of tonight's Game 3 of the series between the Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies on a rainy night. Here in Philadelphia, the Brewers have lost 2 straight to the Phillies. Phillies come in at 19-20, a game under 500. Meanwhile, the Brewers matching the best record in the National League at 25-14. You see the rain's coming down here at Citizens Bank Park. We will have a delay tonight, but first, Bill, let's kind of talk about what's happened here on this road trip. The Brewers are struggling. They've lost 3 straight. The final game against the New York Mets, the first 2 here. They're getting a lot of production, though, but it's come mostly via the long ball.
Well, the offense has been a little bit inconsistent. I mean, there's been some good pitching here in the National League East with the Mets and the Phillies, but right now I think the Brewers relying a little bit too heavily on the long ball. You can see what they've been doing throughout the entire season. 42% of their runs that they've scored, the result of the long ball. But on this road trip, you see on the bottom, 58% in this series in particular, the long ball. Pretty much the only way the Brewers have been able to score on this road trip. They've only scored 11 runs that have not been the result of a home run, and 8 of those came in the game against the Mets, in which they won big. He scored 12 runs in that ball game, but right now the Brewers just not able to bang, 3-4 hits in an inning together, not getting that timely hitting like they were early on.
Well, the Brewers have lost 4 out of 5 on this road trip. They're scoring a lot of runs, as Bill mentioned, over 5 a game, but the team ERA is up, and specifically the bullpen ERA. Derek Turnbow suffering losses on the last 2 nights. After last night's loss, Derek Turnbow facing the media. A lot of questions about his mind and about how he would respond, especially after last year. He stepped up to the media last night and had a visit with Craig Kashawn after that loss.
I still feel good. I feel confident. I feel like I'll be ready to go tomorrow and right back in there again. So.
You guys have lost 3 in a row since the first week
Right.
of the season.
Right.
Just the first sign, perhaps, that you're not overcome a little bit of adversity.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it's been I wouldn't say easy, but we've played pretty well. We hope this at this point and until New York and the Philadelphia series. But it's a long season. I mean, this stuff's going to happen. The biggest thing is just keep playing as consistent as you can. Talent and team and being consistent will always take over at some point.
Well, Derek Turnbow, a great example of how business-like this Brewers team is despite the losing streak. They can be tough. The road can be tough. How about them filling it up down in that bullpen here in Philadelphia? They are certainly hearing about it this week. Stay with us. We are in a delay in Philadelphia. We'll return it to Ann Carroll.
And you are looking inside Citizens Bank Park, a rainy night in Philadelphia. The rain's coming down, the skies are dark, and the tarps are on the field. That means we are in a rain delay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ann Carroll in the FSN Wisconsin studios. We are in a rain delay, so we will keep you updated on the rain situation throughout the night. But for now, we do send you to alternate programming. The Chris Meyer interview with Barry Zito comes your way. For now, we're in a rain delay in Philly.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on FSN Wisconsin is presented by Dodge, grab life by the horns. By Menards, save big money at Menards. By U.S. Cellular, we connect with you. And by Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. Well, the skies are clearing here in Philadelphia, PA, as we get set for the 3rd game of this 4-game series, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Craig Kashawn with us as well, and we're glad you've decided to hang around tonight. Brewers trying to get off the schneid. They've lost 3 straight and 4 of their last 5. And it looks like we're going to have good weather the rest of the way. And, Bill, it's going to turn out to be about a 90-minute delay here in Philadelphia.
Well, it really shouldn't have much effect on the pitchers. The pitchers never did start to get loose, so their routine thrown off just a little bit. I think the one thing that will be interesting is balls out in the outfield. If they hit the ground, they're going to be very interesting to watch the outfielders try and throw them back in, because there's a lot of rain, a lot of water on that outfield right now.
With an update from the field on the conditions. Let's check in with Craig Conshawn.
All right, thanks very much. You know, I'm down here kind of adjacent to the Brewer dugout here, and one of the photographers' well down here, and this goes about 3 feet below the ground. And I'll tell you what, the rain that was coming in for about an hour and a half here, really about the first half hour it started raining here. The water was just rushing from the seats behind me right down through here and then onto the field. It's all filled up. But you'd never know it right now. I mean, the drainage system they have at these new ballparks is phenomenal. They're ready for baseball now. They squeegeed everything off the grass, so they're really hoping that water and excess moisture won't be a problem at all tonight. So we're just about ready to go, Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig. So right field is probably the field in question. That's where they take the tarp off, and they unloaded all of that water. But as Craig mentioned, Bill, this is a new facility. It opened in 2004, and it is designed for weather delays such as these.
Well, you're not going to see puddles. I mean, there's not going to be any standing water, but still in all, the grass is going to be wet, and the ground ball that rolls into the outfield is going to be very slick when an outfielder tries to grab it and throw it back in the infield. So you would imagine that the base runners might be challenging the arms of the outfielders tonight, particularly the Brewers, and we know, if you've been watching this series, how well the outfielders for the Phillies throw the baseball.
Now the Phillies lead the National League in outfield assists. It is Ryan Howard bobblehead night here in Philadelphia. They have a big crowd on hand. They have lasted through this rain delay. Ryan Howard, incidentally, not available to Charlie Manuel. He is still on the disabled list, and he'll be on the DL until the 25th. But they are here cheering on Ryan Howard and hoping for a quick return. The Phillies have actually played very well without the reigning MVP. Phillies have won 5 of 6 as they have taken the first 2 in this series against the Brewers. Here's how the Milwaukee Brewers will line them up tonight. Ned Yost, who was ejected last night, back in his managerial spot, and with a left-hander on the mound, it's the right-handed batting lineup, and Bill Hall is a key right now. Bill, he's swinging a good bat on the road trip. He has 6 hits, but he's not producing the big power numbers right now.
Well, and right now he really hasn't hit his stride. He and Ricky Weeks haven't gotten into one of those stretches where they're carrying the offense, and until this road trip, the other guys in that line have really been picking them up. It's time for those 2 guys to get going.
Let's check in with Craig Conshawn with Ed Cedar.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. And Ed, I'll tell you what, this is the first time this year we've had a delay to actually start the game. What do you guys do for that extra hour and a half inside that clubhouse?
Unfortunately, well, the players, I sure don't follow my suit where I eat. Philly cheesesteaks are awesome here. They had the baseball games on in the big screens. Everyone loves Raymond was on another TV. Some people are watching 24, the other Sopranos. And then, of course, the card game's going on.
How about indoor batting cage wise? Do they start getting a little sharper? Like maybe, I think they were talking 8 o'clock, have the skies clear. Were they starting to do a little bit more of that as you get closer to that time?
Oh, yeah, they had their regular routine at 5:30 to 6:30 where they took their regular hitting. And then the delay, so I'm sure Mr. Ski has them locked in, as well as probably will need ice for the arm today.
How about as far as the pitcher goes, like Soup? You know, you kind of dial in on a time. Obviously, you didn't have to come out and do any kind of pre-warm-up, but is he good to go, you think, at this time?
Oh, yeah, he's good to go. Like I said before, true professional. I'm sure he's been through this before, and the one good thing there, it already told us that it was going to be delayed, so neither of the pitchers were out here throwing before the scheduled start, so that's a pretty good one.
All right, Ed, thanks for your time.
You're welcome, Craig.
All right, Brian, let's throw it back upstairs.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig, and thanks to Ed Cedar for joining us before the ball game. And we are set for baseball. Cole Hamels for the Phillies, Jeff Suppan for the Brewers, as Milwaukee looks for win number 1 here in Philadelphia. Ready to play ball here in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. The Brewers and the Phillies. Game number 40 for both teams. The Brewers come in tied for the National League's best record, 25-14. They're tied with the Braves for the NL's best mark. And the Brewers open up the day with a 5.5 game lead in the National League Central. They lead the Houston Astros, who are underway tonight against San Francisco. Phillies a game under 500, and Bill, this has been one of their best pitchers this year. Cole Hamels, he's 5-1.
Yeah, he's a guy that can eat up some innings, and check out the strikeouts for Cole Hamels, second in the National League behind Jake Peavy of the San Diego Padres. The strikeouts big for Cole Hamels. He's got some good pitches. The problem that I have with a high fastball is giving up home runs. He's given up 7 of them. Let's check out the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on the Phillies left-hander. He's 6-1 career here at home with a 2.79 ERA. His best pitch, a changeup, one of the best in the business. Brewer hitters are going to have to be aware of that. And we already talked about the fact that he's an inning eater. When he's out there, minimum 7 innings.
Cole Hamels, former Phillies #1 pick, signed out of high school back in '02, and he just zipped right through their minor league system. And already in the big leagues, his first full season, spent half of the year in the big leagues last year. Rico defense for the Philadelphia Phillies. Shane Victorino, 6 outfield assists, leads the National League, but Victorino with a big error last night that led to a Brewers run. A game that the Phillies won with a walk-off home run by their catcher, Carlos Ruiz, the rookie. He hit it off Turnbow, and the Phillies have won 2 straight against the Brew Crew. Finally ready to play ball here tonight. It's going to be about a 90-92 minute delay, and the first pitch to Ricky Weeks is in there for strike 1, and away we go in game 3 of the series. Weeks had a rough night last night. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against Adam Eaton.
Well, right now, Ricky really jumping at the baseball, swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. And as we talked about, it's time for Ricky to get locked in and get on one of those hot stretches.
The 0-2 from Cole Hamels and a strikeout. Hamels earlier this year struck out 15 in a complete game win against the Cincinnati Reds. He has put up some lofty strikeout numbers.
Man, the Brewers are going to have to lay off this pitch right here, that high fastball. Hamels will rely on that pitch up in the strike zone. He'll also throw a big overhand curveball and a very good changeup.
Now J.J. Hardy. Now Cole Hamels at strikeout to Ricky Weeks, now number 60 for the season. He has always, throughout his career, even in the minor leagues, had more strikeouts than innings pitched. Cole Hamels currently 2nd in the National League in strikeouts. Ball and a strike on J.J. Hardy. Jake Peavy leads the National League in Ks. He's had a big year for the Padres.
Yes, he has. And when you talk about strikeouts, you don't think of a lot of guys on that list. Randy Wolf isn't a guy you think of, and certainly Cole Hamels.
Off the end of the bat, Hardy hangs in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Hamels from the San Diego area, 6'3" left-hander. Took him 3.5 years to get to the big leagues. And remember, he signed out of high school. He made his big league debut just about a year to date last year as Hardy goes down on strikes. And Hamels appears to have his good stuff here in the first. 2 up, 2 down on 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's tall and lanky. He's only 190 pounds. As you mentioned, he's 6'3". Hitters will tell you that he hides the ball pretty well. Can't pick it up very good. That makes that fastball even more sneaky.
Don't see Hardy miss on fastballs too often. Hamels gets ahead of Prince Fielder. Big numbers for Fielder. He's tied with Hardy for the league lead in home runs with 12. And 4th in the league at RBIs. And Hamels quickly gets ahead of him 0-2.
Well, he doesn't mess around, does he? He's very quick. He gets it and gets it right back to that catcher. Brewers need to step out on him once in a while, slow him down.
Oh, 2 to Fielder. And a 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeout inning for Cole Hamels. So the Brewers go down in order. Impressive fashion from the Philly hurler. And now Jeff Suppan will take the mound. Well, Charlie Manuel, after a slow start with his 07 Phillies, they have righted the ship. They were off to a 1-6 start this year and only won 2 of their first 10 games. But now a game under 500 as they trail the Atlanta Braves by 6 games in the National League East. Carlos Ruiz with the walk-off home run. The rookie for the first time in his career. He's had a big year. He leads National League rookies in batting average coming into play tonight. He's hitting .295. Jeff Suppan on the mound for the Brew Crew, coming off a loss against New York. He is 5-3 this season.
Yeah, he snapped a 5-game winning streak, did Jeff Suppan, giving up 4 home runs. A big inning cost him in his last start against the New York Mets. Other than that, he threw the baseball pretty well.
Charlie Manuel sticking with that same lineup. It has been a recipe for success on this homestand. Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. And then they have won the first 2 here in this series. Aaron Rowan leads off. Rowan checks in 5th in the National League in batting at .343. This ball club can swing the bats, the Phillies. They lead in a number of offensive categories, including runs scored.
It's been a tough test for the Brewer pitching staff. When you talk about the New York Mets offense and the Phillies, you can see what they have been able to do, and a lot of that damage you see right there without Ryan Howard. Even when he was active, he wasn't really swinging the bat like he did last year.
Howard on the 15-day disabled list. He is due to come back on the 25th. He has been taking batting practice, and as a matter of fact, he took batting practice today again. A left quad injury. He's probably the most active DL player I think I've ever seen.
Well, they say he can do everything but run. He can take ground balls. He can't run all that well, so that's why he's on the DL. And maybe a bit of a mental rest for Ryan Howard, feeling a lot of pressure after that MVP season last year.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Aaron Rowan. Suppan making start number 9, and he starts it with a strikeout as Rowan is gone. So 4 batters we've seen in this game and 4 strikeouts.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Jeff Suppan, only 74 pitches in his last start, the lowest pitch count that he's had, but he threw 6 innings. He threw well except for 1 inning. Be careful the bottom half of this Philly order. Those were the guys that got it done last night, and the off speed got to be down. It was to Aaron Rowan.
Shane Victorino will bat for the Phillies, and he takes a strike as Suppan is in there. Damian Miller getting the call behind the plate for Ned Yost, as Johnny Estrada, who hit the game tying home run in the 9th last night, getting tonight off. He will be available to pinch hit. Victorino to short, and Hardy bobbles. That's going to be an error on the Brewer shortstop, and a rare error at that. The normally sure-handed J.J. Hardy looked like that one caught him on the bare hand.
Well, so far it looked like that rain delay has got the Brewers a little bit out of their game, particularly when you see J.J. boot one at short. I mean, a 2-hopper goes right off the bare hand, and you hope that he's all right.
Fourth error of the year for J.J. Hardy. And now runner on, and a speedy one at that, and Shane Victorino for Jimmy Rollins. Rollins has typically been a leadoff hitter in his career, but with Howard out of the lineup, Charlie Manuel shifting up his lineup a little bit, and Rollins seems to have found a home in the 3 spot.
Yeah, starting to swing the bat pretty well. Coming into this series, he was, I think, was it 0 for 15, 0 for 16? Since that time, swinging the bat pretty well. When you look at this Phillies order, how often do you see in the 3 and 4 hole your shortstop and second baseman? That's what the Phillies have going.
Now Rollins and Chase Utley, 2 of the premier middle infielders in the major leagues, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and Rollins is a Gold Glove type shortstop as well. It's another matchup of great shortstops in this series with J.J. Hardy and Jimmy Rollins, and it seems like we say that every series. There are some talented shortstops in the National League.
Yeah, particularly on this road trip.
That gets away from Miller, and Victorino on his way to second on the wild pitch.
Well, it's been a while since Damian Miller's been back behind the plate. Johnny Estrada had caught 5 games in a row. And And that one ordinarily a ball that Damon's going to be able to get over there, shift, and get in front of. Tried to backhand it. And Johnny needs a day off once in a while.
Victorino at second base here in the first inning. Good speed on the bags for Philadelphia. On the Hardy error, Victorino reaches to second on the wild pitch, and now Rollins in a 1-1 count, and Rollins fouls it away a little bit late on that fastball, and it's 1-2. Jimmy Rollins was the player of the month in April in the National League. Had 9 home runs in April. He's still sitting on 9 home runs. And this the 16th of May.
Man, nobody more surprised about those 9 home runs than Jimmy Rollins himself. He's not a home run hitter. He's ordinarily a guy that's going to lead off, steal some bases, and score runs.
Rollins with a career high for home runs last year. Hit 25. Also a career high for RBIs. Drove in 83 in an all-star season. He's a rookie back in 01 and was an all-star in his rookie season as well, Jimmy Rollins. Victorino at second base with 1 out as Suppan tries to get through this first. Into right field, well hit, Hart going back, can't get it. That is all the way to the wall. Victorino will score. Rollins into second base. It's an RBI double, and the Phillies have an early lead here in the first inning.
Well, the Phillies have certainly come out a lot sharper than the Brewers came out. A quick inning for Cole Hamels, and Jimmy Rollins continues to swing a hot bat in this series. That was a sinker that Suppan left out over the plate. It was supposed to be inside, and the Phillies with an early lead.
Well, Rollins continues to terrorize the Brewers. That's his 10th hit in his last 21 at-bats against Milwaukee, going back to last year. So Suppan has given up a first inning run, and now Chase Utley. Utley at 307 on the year. 7 home runs, the 33 RBIs, good enough for 4th in the league. He's tied with Prince Fielder for runs batted in.
And they're giving him a lot of room in left center, and J.J. Hardy is on the right side of second base. Check him out.
And a quick pick on Jimmy Rollins just back in time.
And if Rollins was not on second base, Tony Graffinino would be ordinarily where J.J. Hardy would be playing, but because of the, you have to be aware of the stolen base, Tony's got to stay put.
Suppan to Utley, and gets ahead of him. No balls and 2 strikes on the foul tip. Hardy leads the league in RBIs with 37. He's tied with Carlos Lee, who had a walk-off last night for the Astros, and then Fielder and Utley tied at 33. So you're seeing 3 of the top 4 run producers in the National League here in this series.
There's been a lot of good offense on this road trip, haven't it? I mean, the Mets have a good offense. The Phillies, the Brewers have been scoring runs.
Brewers are scoring runs. You know, they're averaging over 5.5 runs per game. But as you mentioned in the open when we hit the air, they're doing a lot of their scoring on the long ball this year.
No, historically the Brewers have done that. They weren't doing as much of that before this road trip. About 40% of their runs scored via the home run, but in this road trip they relied a little bit more on the home run, and that's not good. You want to have much better success with runners in scoring position. The team earned run average has not been very good, but most of that has been a result of the bullpen having some problems.
Yeah, the bullpen ERA on this road trip is up over 8, as Milwaukee has dropped 4 out of 5. Brewers coming home for a quick 3-game series against the Twins Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Opens up interleague play. Final game of the Philly series tomorrow. 3 at home and then back on the road as the Brewers head west. 2-strike pitch to Utley off the end of the bat. That'll roll foul. Check that Rico defense for the Brewers with Damian Miller behind the plate, making his 10th start at catcher this year. He made 1 start at first base. The Brewers have not lost when Miller has started a ball game.
Well, and you hope that continues. The Brewers really need a win. They've lost 3 straight.
The right-handed hitting lineup for Ned Yost against the left-hander Cole Hamels. Suppan with a 1-2 count on Chase Utley, and Rollins at second base. On the ground, Suppan has it. Thought about third. Will throw to first instead. And he gets the second out. So Rollins over to third base. Utley retired and 2 gone here in the first inning.
Good off-speed pitch that time by Jeff Suppan. And pulled the string on Chase Utley, and he was way out in front on the end of the bat.
One to nothing Phillies on an RBI double by Rollins, scoring Shane Victorino, who reached on an error. And here is Pat Burrell. Burrell hit a home run in the first game of this series. Has 4 for the year, driven in 19. It's been a slow start for Burrell this season. A perennial 30-homer, 100 RBI guy.
Man, there's not a guy that is streakier than Pat Burrell in baseball. Here he takes this one on Monday to the opposite field. He's ordinarily a pull hitter. But on Monday, he took one to the opposite field for a big fly. When he gets hot, look out. He hasn't been able to get hot yet.
Approaching 200 home runs in his career. This is his 8th season, all with Philadelphia. He was drafted and came up through their system, former #1 by the Phillies, out of the University of Miami. And Burrell into left field, and that is going to get down and all the way to the wall. 2-0 Philadelphia. Mensch with a play at second. The throw is going to be in time. Burrell thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double. And another outfield assist for the Brewers in this series. It ends the inning, but the run scores, and the Phillies with a 2 spot in the first off Jeff Suppan. Inauspicious start for the Brewers tonight. Phillies put 2 on the board in the bottom of the first after Cole Hamels strikes out the side in the top of the first. So Cole Hamels, a strikeout pitcher, came into the game second in the National League in punchouts, and already with 3 in the first inning, facing Bill Hall. And quickly ahead of Hall, no balls, 2 strikes. Hall mentioned Hart due up against Hamels. Billy had 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. He's up over 300 on the road trip. Did hit a home run against the New York Mets in his final at bat on Mother's Day. Hit it with the pink bat.
Yeah, broke the shutout for Oliver Perez.
Power numbers not there right now for Hall. Slow roller to third, and that one just rolls foul. That missed the corner of the bag by inches.
Yeah, the first changeup that Cole Hamels has thrown on an 0-2 pitch. This guy will throw any pitch at any time. He's got 3 very good pitches. He's been able to pound the strike zone, at least in the first inning plus, with all 3 of them.
And you see the numbers on Hamels, 23-year-old left-hander, #1 draft pick. All of the strikeouts he's put together, your first instinct is he must be a power pitcher. He has a good fastball, but his changeup is his best pitch.
No, his changeup makes his fastball much more effective. You go up there and in the back of your mind you're thinking changeup, and then he'll sneak that 90, 91 miles per hour fastball right by you. Did it 3 times in the first inning.
0-2 to Hall, and down he goes on strikes. And Cole Hamels has the strikeout stuff here tonight. That is the 4th straight punch out.
And watch this changeup go away from Billy as it gets to home plate. Almost like a screwball. I mean, that's a nice pitch. And Billy fooled.
Hamels said he learned the changeup growing up in San Diego watching Trevor Hoffman pitch for the Padres and use that changeup so effectively. You know the kid's young when he references guys who are still in the league.
Yeah, that's right. Guys like Greg Maddux, Trevor Hoffman you mentioned.
Kevin Minch, he's glad to be in Philadelphia. Die-hard Eagles fan. Grew up about 25 miles south of here in Wilmington, Delaware. To the right side, Utley knocks it down to his feet, and Minch is out. Terrific play by Chase Utley. He's been known as an offensive-minded infielder, but he has really stepped up his game defensively the last couple of years.
In his first 2 years, he wasn't very good out there at second base, but as you mentioned, he has gotten much better. They're shading Minch to pull just a little bit. Able to smother it, and it looks as though Minch kind of gave up on it as he got to first base. I thought maybe for a second he might have hurt a leg.
I saw the same thing. I watched him run back to the dugout, and he did not run with a gait. But that'd be something to pay attention to. Is Kevin Minch looked like he stopped short. Corey Hart on the ground to third. Nunez. And a 1-2-3 inning, and Cole Hamels 6 up, 6 down with 4 strikeouts. Phillies coming to bat.
Craig Kashan back here in Philadelphia. It's 2-0 Phillies. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Off tomorrow for TV anyway. Then the weekend, FSN Wisconsin. All 3 games, the Minnesota Twins back at Miller Park. Well, Jeff Suppan on the hill for the Brewers, and he told me earlier this week he likes the camaraderie on this starting pitching staff.
I think you have, you know, some funny guys, and you got some serious guys, and you got some guys that just enjoy each other's company. You know, so that's important when you're able to talk about other hitters. You know, when you're sitting there on the bench and somebody makes an observation, that's important. You know, and I talk to all of them. I mean, I think it's enjoyable to be around these guys. I mean, they're really very intelligent pitchers. They go out and pitch with what they have and their stuff, and you know, basically, you know, we just bounce off each other. And so that's kind of how it goes, and that's how good rotations work.
And we talked to Chris Capuano last weekend as well. He's had the same things to say, and Dave Bush does as well, about Suppan. These guys all really get along very well. And Jeff Suppan had won 5 straight, trying to bounce back after really that 1 inning got him in New York. Hopefully he'll bounce back after the first inning tonight, Brian and Bill.
Yeah, it's important for pitchers to talk, because maybe one guy will have success against a certain hitter or a certain team, and maybe help out the next pitcher and tell him what he's been able to do to be successful. And on the flip side, maybe Dave Bush will tell Capuano, don't throw this guy inside.
Now we've seen the Brewers starters between starts. Those who are not pitching on that night spending a lot of time in that dugout, a lot of time talking with each other. And that's a big part of it, as Greg Dobbs goes around, and that's a strikeout for Suppan. First out of the inning, his second strikeout of the ballgame.
Well, Suppan's had pretty good success with that breaking ball so far tonight. We got an out from Chase Utley with that breaking ball. We got Rowan with it. And here's another good one down in the dirt. That's where you want to throw with 2 strikes.
Lead man out for Suppan, who knows Cole Hamels can be tough. And 2 runs is right where he wants to hold the Phillies. Cole Hamels, the book on him, he's already had this great start, 6 up, 6 down, but they say if he has his A stuff, he's got a chance to dominate. He's winning this year with his B stuff, and that's why he is making such an impact in the National League.
Man, you just got to keep grinding it out. He is susceptible to the home run ball because he does rely on that high fastball. Just get a couple of men on, and hopefully he makes a mistake.
Hamels already ready to swing the bat, scheduled to hit 4th in this inning. Suppan has Philadelphia ties, a lot of them as a matter of fact, both of his parents from this area. Suppan, the only kid in his family to grow up in Southern California. Jeff's dad was an air traffic controller, and he moved around quite a bit, settled in here in Philadelphia for a long time. His dad was a Marine, as a matter of fact, and of course Philadelphia, the birthplace of the Marines. But they moved to Los Angeles when Jeff was a kid, and he grew up in Southern California. But He says I'm more Philadelphia than I am SoCal.
Good for him. I guess in air traffic control, that's got to be a busy job here in Philadelphia on the Northeast, huh? Not a whole lot of downtime.
Yeah, Supan's old man not impressed with his, abilities on the mound. He said, hey, you don't have stress like I had stress, especially at LAX where he worked for so many years.
Yeah.
Supan has 30 tickets out tonight for friends and family. Hoping to pitch well in front of a lot of those folks. Phillies already with 2 runs in the first. Both of those runs unearned. And another strikeout for Supan. So it took a little off to Nunez, and back-to-back Ks. That's the 3rd of the game for Jeff.
Another off-speed pitch, so he's getting it done. He got the curveball by Dobbs, and that time a changeup. Nunez was a pesky hitter last night. He's got a couple of base hits.
Big ovation for Carlos Ruiz, the rookie catcher for Philadelphia, who hit the walk-off home run last night. First of his career. And Supan gets ahead of him in the ninth with 2 outs against Derek Turnbull. Ruiz, and he knew it. A no-doubter into deep left center field. Second time this year the Phillies have had a walk-off homer.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the fastball to this kid. I mean, Derek got ahead of him yesterday with the fastball. Couldn't throw the curveball over for a strike and had to come in with that heater again.
1-1 to Ruiz. 2 balls and a strike. Ruiz leading the National League rookie list in batting average, .295 coming in, and 30 points higher than Chris Young, the fine center fielder with Arizona. He's had 3 home runs this year. All 3 have come right here at Citizens Bank Park. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it's a good yard to hit in, particularly when it starts warming up in the summer. Ball flies out of here.
And Ruiz draws the walk. So Supan, after back-to-back strikeouts, walks Ruiz, and that'll clear the pitcher spot for the Phillies in the 2nd inning. Two outs, a runner at first for the Phillies. And Supan misses the zone once again on the Philly pitcher. Hamels just the 1 hit this year. Well, Ned Yost ejected last night in the 4th inning. First ejection of the year for Ned. Dale Swaim managed the rest of the ball game last night.
Yeah, he snapped last night, didn't he, Ned? Wow. First time this year.
Got thrown out arguing balls and strikes. Hamels with a base hit. So the Philly pitcher comes up with the 2nd hit of the ball game for Philadelphia. Look at the 3rd hit.
Well, when he first walked Ruiz, I thought it was maybe trying to be careful with a guy that is swinging the bat pretty well, but that fastball right down the middle, and Cole Hamels surprised himself by making contact and getting the base hit. We talked about on the scouting report tonight, control the bottom half of the order. The bottom half did a lot of damage last night.
Well, now Supan with 2 on base has to go to work against the top of the order. Aaron Rowan, 5th best hitter in the league, stepping in. Supan struck him out in the first, swinging. Brewers trying to weather the storm here on this East Coast trip. Dropped 2 out of 3 to the Mets. Had a chance to win 2 out of 3. It was a good ball game, the opening game of the series against New York. Mets came on and won it by a run. Brewers blew out the Mets the next day, Saturday, and then the Mets returned the favor Sunday. Both of the games here in Philadelphia, the Brewers have had a chance to win. Matter of fact, in the opener, they had a 4-run lead going into the 8th inning.
Yeah, things looking pretty good, and up to that point, the Brewers had not lost the game when they were ahead in the 8th. It's just been a matter of not being able to, put together 3-4 hits in an inning. They were doing a pretty good job of that most of the season so far. Not on this road trip, though.
0-2 the count on Aaron Rowan. And he hits one into left, and it's a 3-run homer. And the Phillies are just raking right now. 5-0. Aaron Rowan with a 2-strike home run, his 6th home run of the year, and now he has driven in 20.
Well, you walk the number 8 hitter, you give up a hit to the pitcher, and on an 0-2 pitch, or I should say a 2-strike pitch, looked like a changeup. And Aaron Rowan able to wait back, and in this ballpark,
Shane Victorino up now.
Well, a mistake by Jeff Suppan, and it cost him 3 runs.
Oh, the Phillies striking quickly here tonight. Victorino on the ground, a fielder. And the side retired, but not before Aaron Rowan with a 3-run home run, his 6th of the year. And he makes it a 5-0 Phillies lead. We head to the 3rd. The Brewers have some work to do tonight.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on FSN Wisconsin is presented by Clements. When you run out of Clements, you run out of taste. And by Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save.
Damian Miller will lead off. The Brewers down 5 here in the 3rd inning. 2-run first for the Phils. RBIs from Rollins and Burrell, and a 3-run homer in the 2nd by Aaron Rowan. A 2-out, 2-strike 3-run homer. And now Damian Miller to lead the way. Bottom of the order due up. Cole Hamels has retired 6 straight with 4 strikeouts. And Miller, a sharp ground ball to Rollins. 1 away. 7 in a row retired by Hamels.
Well, Brewer fans, from now until May 18th, get your coupon from the Journal Sentinel and purchase a medallion showcasing champions from the 1982 World Series team. A different player's medallion will be available each day. See the Journal Sentinel for details.
Cole Hamels facing Tony Graffinino with 1 out here in the 3rd. Graffinino checks in at .214 with a home run and 8 runs batted in. Graffinino started the opener of this series. He was 0 for 3 but scored a run in that Phillies 8-6 win back on Monday. 2 balls and a strike on Tony. Hamels likes to work in a hurry. And there's that changeup. Throws it at 2-1. Evens a count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, when you have a guy out there that likes to work that fast, and Ben Sheets is a guy on the Brewers that likes to do that, you'll see guys stepping out of the box from time to time, disrupt his rhythm.
You know, I'm not a big stats guy, Bill, but there's an interesting stat out on Cole Hamels. The publication did what they call the whiff rate. How often you get a swing and a miss on a certain pitch, and for Cole Hamels, as far as off-speed pitches go, which basically is his changeup, as Graffinino strikes out. Let's check in with Ann Carroll in our FSN Wisconsin studio.
Guys, the East leading Braves are at the Nationals, bottom of 5. Nats trailing 4-3, but not for long. Bases loaded for Ryan Church, and that is a bases clearing double. 3 runs are in. The Nationals take the lead. They are up 6-4 in the 7th.
Jeff Suppan takes a strike. Thanks, Ann. Talking about the whiff rate for Cole Hamels. And they did this study. It's over 51% of the time he's getting swings and misses, and that is the best in the major leagues. And just to give you some comparisons, Johan Santana, 45%. Cy Young Award winner last year, Brendan Webb, also at 45%.
Yeah, Johan Santana has a pretty good changeup himself, doesn't he? I mean, he's got one of the best in the business. And so does this guy out on the mound, Cole Hamels. Got such good arm action on it. Looks like a fastball, just never gets there for the hitter. Got good movement going away from right-handers.
And you're talking in Santana and Webb, a couple of established major league pitchers. These numbers were produced in Hamels' rookie year last year, making quite an impact. As Suppan fouls one away. Hamels has retired 8 straight with 5 strikeouts. Started the year last year at A-ball for the Phillies, and then made the jump from single A to triple A, and then he was in the big leagues by May. Second-year pitcher and a rookie catcher. 3-2 to Suppan. Strikeout number 6 for Cole Hamels. Everything's clicking for the Phillies so far tonight. They lead at 5-zip, coming to bat in the bottom of the third. Phillies with 2 in the first, 3 in the second. They lead at 5-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Well, even when the game isn't on, you can still see all the plays that matter most during Brewers Squeeze Play, a 30-minute condensed version of select non-televised Brewers games. You can catch the action from the Brewers and the Phillies tomorrow. Brewers Squeeze Play, 10 p.m. on FSN Wisconsin. Final game of the series tomorrow before the Brewers return to Miller Park in a 3-game set with the Twins. Suppan back on the mound. Jimmy Rollins leads off. Rollins, Utley, and Burrell here in this third, and a lot of offense already for Philadelphia. Suppan surrendering 2 unearned runs in the first inning on 2 hits. 3 runs and 2 hits last inning. Shallow left field, long run for Kevin Minch. He's there. And Rollins is retired, 1 away here in the third. Don't forget, Brewers Live following the game today. Ann Carroll in our FSN Wisconsin studios. She'll be with us throughout the game with updates from the major leagues. And then Brewers Live, the complete post-game story following our matchup here tonight. Chase Utley with 1 out in the third. Mentioned that combination of Rollins and Utley. Batting 3rd and 4th in the lineup. Second baseman Utley, shortstop Rollins. Combining for 16 home runs. And 58 RBIs this year. That is some big production out of the middle of that infield.
Yeah, you betcha. I don't know if there's another team in baseball that have their middle infielders in the 3 and 4 spots in the batting order. That's very unusual.
J.J. Hardy with his 12 home runs, tied for the league lead, combined with Ricky Weeks' 5. That's 17 home runs. The best 1-2 combo, if you take it away from the middle infield, is Fielder and Hardy in the league as far as long balls go. Of course, both are tied at the top of the league with 12 home runs apiece.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Utley got jammed, long run. Hardy going back, can't get it. Base hit for Utley on a jam shot single into center field.
Yeah, that's how good a hitter Chase Utley is. I mean, even on a pitch up and in, Chase Utley really a very good low ball hitter. They would have fight it off into center field. Check it out. Not a bad pitch by Jeff Suppan, but he's able to keep the hands in enough to get at least a little bit of the barrel of the bat on it and dump it into center field. It's amazing what making contact will do for you. Give you a chance.
Well, Utley runs well at first, and Pat Burrell the batter. Broken bat towards third. Chance for 2. Graffinino to Weeks, over to first, and Suppan bows his neck. It's a 5-4-3 double play ball and a scoreless frame for the Phillies in the third. Brewers coming to bat in the fourth. Well, time now for the Aflac trivia question. Prior to last season, who was the last Phillies player to win an MVP award? Ryan Howard, the MVP last year. And it's Ryan Howard bobblehead night here at Citizens Bank Park.
Pretty good question, huh?
Last Phillies MVP. As Ricky Weeks leads off this fourth inning, Cole Hamels has retired 9 straight with 6 strikeouts. He got Weeks in that first. Matter of fact, Hamels struck out the side of the first. And a lot of goose eggs, and there are all the strikeouts. Hamels struck out the first 4. And then got Graffinino and Suppan to win that third inning.
Yeah, every one of them swinging strikeout.
Ricky Weeks takes a strike, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
In the first inning, all the strikeouts came on the fastball, and the others have been on the changeup.
Looking for the fastball here, and Weeks right on it, but under it. Fouls it back. Counter Baines at a ball and 2 strikes. Phillies with 5 runs in the first 2 innings against Jeff Suppan. 2 of those runs unearned. And a tough hill to climb tonight against a talented left-hander. Looks like the changeup is coming. Weeks makes contact on the ground to Nunez. And that's 10 in a row retired by the young lefty. Threw a complete game against Cincinnati on the 21st of April. His first and only complete game of the year. And Hamels struck out 15 Reds in that game on the road in Cincinnati. Gave up just 1 run in that ball game. His last time out, he beat Rich Hill when the Phillies beat the Cubs Friday. And Hamels went 7 innings and allowed 2 runs. Hardy pops it up to the right side. Victorino, 2 outs.
Well, the amazing thing about Cole Hamels is the fact that, he racks up all of those strikeouts, but he very rarely walks batters. He's only got 16 walks coming into action tonight to go along with those 59 strikeouts before tonight. And now he's got what, 65 strikeouts, 1 behind Jake Peavy.
Prince Fielder bats with 2 outs.
So he's not a guy that's going to beat himself with base on balls. He doesn't give up many base hits, and as we mentioned, the only thing that can cost him a ball game is that home run. That's because he relies on that high fastball.
Now I saw it.
2-0 to Fielder. That one right down the middle. Hamels was the Phillies minor league pitcher of the year in '03. He was also the pitcher of the year all throughout minor league baseball. So he came with high stock when he finally made it to the big leagues last year. Fielder fouls one down the third base line, foul territory. That'll get in the seats. He's had a couple of injuries, though, Hamels, that scare the scouts a little bit. First of all, he has a degenerative disc in his back. And you've had some back. You know how scary that can be. He has to do this really advanced maintenance program just to be ready to pitch on a daily basis.
Yeah, kind of a young guy to be dealing with that already.
And in high school, Hamels broke the humerus bone in his pitching arm, which is the big bone in the arm that nobody has really bounced back from. It was the same bone that Dave Dravecki broke. Fielder watches one go by. That was almost strike 3 on Prince.
Yeah, that broken arm might have been the best thing that ever happened to him. That was about the time he started throwing that changeup. And that one didn't miss by much.
3-2 the count on Fielder. And down he goes. Cole Hamels has his A stuff tonight. 7 strikeouts. He has retired 12 straight. And he gets fielded for the 2nd time to win the 4th. Aflac trivia question tonight. Prior to last season, who was the last Phillies player to win an MVP award? Ryan Howard. Aflac. Last year's MVP, and it's a pretty good guess on any trivia question concerning the Phillies to go with Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, Michael Jack Schmidt. You betcha.
Played his entire 18-year career in Philadelphia. And in the Hall of Fame, Mike Schmidt won 3 MVP awards. Chuck Klein going back to the 30s.
Yeah.
And still some Schmidt jerseys in Philadelphia. I do recall they did boo Mike Schmidt at one point, briefly here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think that's a badge of honor if you play in Philadelphia to get booed at least once. I mean, everybody gets booed. Not just in Philly.
Now Ryan Howard picking up the MVP last year and coming off a Rookie of the Year season and then winning the Most Valuable Player. He was off to a slow start, although he did have a big home run last Wednesday at Arizona. A pinch hit home run. He's been struggling at the plate, hitting down in the low 200s. Phillies are fully expecting Howard back in the lineup with that left quad injury healed on the 25th of May.
Maybe pressing a little bit, trying to back up that MVP season.
Now Suppan gets a lead out here. Second time he has struck out Greg Dobbs in this game. Suppan putting some strikeout numbers on the board. He has 4 through 3 1/3, but compared to Cole Hamels' 7, doesn't look like much.
Now, good breaking ball down in the strike zone. That's the second time that Dobbs couldn't lay off of that pitch out of the strike zone.
Abraham Nunez batting with 1 out. Walking through the ballpark the other day up on the concourse level, they have a great Hall of Fame set up here as Nunez singles back up the middle into center field. Really bringing back not just great Phillies players as well, but any players with Philly ties and some of the great Philadelphia managers, Connie Mack, and out in the outfield with some of the Hall of Fame plaques.
Yeah.
We saw Chuck Klein going back to the 30s. Steve Carlton, the great Hall of Fame left-hander.
Yep, Robin Roberts. I mean, there's a long tradition here in Philadelphia. Some very good teams. Philadelphia Phillies, Philadelphia Athletics.
Philadelphia A's used to play in the Baker Bowl. And an answer to a trivia question. The only manager not to wear a uniform. And that was Connie Mack, who wore a coat and tie. He wore a suit.
Top hat.
Top hat. Ball and a strike on Carlos Ruiz. Suppan had the first 2 out in the second inning before he walked Ruiz, gave up a hit to the pitcher Hamels, and then Aaron Rowan hit a 3-run homer to make it a 5-0 game. Two and 1 to count on Ruiz. Nunez at first has good speed, and Suppan checks on him.
Man, he looked like he wanted to go. Kind of a couple of flinches over there at first base. Not a very big lead, though.
Nunez stays put on the ground to short. Could be 2. Hardy to Weeks. And Ricky to first. Good pickup by Fielder. And for the second straight inning, Jeff Suppan fires an inning-ending double play. This time it goes 6-4 to 3. And a good pickup by Fielder at first to secure the double play. It's 5-0 Phillies. Brewers coming to bat in the 5th.
Well, Sunday, May 20th is Stamp Out Spit Tobacco Day at Miller Park. The first 10,000 kids ages 16 and under will get a 6th edition B-Force comic book featuring Ricky Weeks and Corey Hart. That's compliments of the Wisconsin Dental Association.
Well, big crowd on hand tonight at Citizens Bank Park on a rainy Wednesday. A little over an hour and a half rain delay before we were able to get this one started on Ryan Howard bobblehead night.
I'll tell you, though, they were right on the money with it, weren't they? They said it was going to stop at 8 o'clock, and that's exactly when it stopped.
Game started at 8:37. As Howard not available for Charlie Manuel in this game, but the Phillies are having no trouble scoring runs in the early going. 5 runs on 6 hits against Jeff Suppan. Cole Hamels is the story right now. He has retired 12 straight with 7 strikeouts. He got hauled to lead off the second. Hamels has decisions in his last 6 games, making his 9th start of the year, and he comes in at 5-1. A battle of 2 5-game winners in this one tonight with Suppan and Hamels.
Now, the main goal in the series against the Phillies is to get that starter out of the ball game. Their bullpen has struggled from time to time this year. A couple of big key components of that bullpen on the disabled list, so it's going to be tough to get Hamels out of this one, though, the way he's throwing.
Hall takes the 1-2 up high, evens the count.
Good start by Jamie Moyer on Monday, and then Adam Eaton yesterday really did a nice job. 7 2/3 innings, gave up only 2 runs.
To the right side, Utley over. Makes another nice pickup and throws Billy Hall out. Chase Utley with a couple of nice plays in this game. Had a diving stop on Kevin Mensch in the 2nd inning to rob a hit. And showed good range here.
Billy taking it to the opposite field, but Chase Utley with an easy play. Able to throw him out. Nothing hit really all that hard against Hamels so far tonight.
13 straight he's retired. Now Kevin Mensch takes a strike.
And I guess with 7 strikeouts already, you're doing a good job just putting the bat on the baseball.
Mensch late on the fastball, and that's what you're talking about with Hamels' fastball. You know, he throws it in the 90-92 range. It's not overpowering, but his changeup makes it look like 94-95.
And he throws it up in the zone, which makes it tougher to get to.
0-2 on Mensch. Well, he was right on that one. Got under it though, and it's still 0-2.
You know, the low fastball is a lot easier for a hitter to get the barrel of the bat on. You have to start it a lot earlier when it's up, and that's what makes Cole Hamels so effective with that fastball, that pitch up there.
See what he has in mind for him at 0-2. Mensch on the ground to short. Out ahead of the off speed. 14 in a row retired by Hamels. Back-to-back groundouts here in the 5th. If you take it back to last year when Hamels made his major league debut, and it was right about this time, it was the 10th of May. So if you factor in just a calendar year of pitching in the big leagues, Cole Hamels has won 14 games as Corey Hart gets booed by the Philly fans here as Hamels.
Now the fans realize they got a perfect game going here and doesn't want to ruin it with a bunt base hit.
What is protocol when you can actually try to bunt for a hit? If it's past the 3rd?
Nah. I guess this is about the gray area right here. 5th, 6th inning.
0-2 to Hart. Into center field. Rowan coming in. Victorino, who can run, will take it. 15 up and 15 down for Cole Hamels. Well, tonight's game summary brought to you by Toyota. The Phillies lead at 5-0 over the Brewers, and Cole Hamels, who will bat to lead off this inning, has been the story. 15 up, 15 down with 7 strikeouts. Phillies got 2 runs in the first inning, 2 unearned runs, and then a 3-run homer by Aaron Rowan in the second. 5-zip. Suppan trying to keep the Phillies right where they are. It's going to be an uphill climb tonight. Hamels delivered with a base hit with 2 outs in the second inning. So not only is he pitching well, but he's helping his cause offensively.
Yeah, that was a huge inning, that second inning. Suppan was able to get the first 2 out easily. Bottom of the order, that's what we were talking about on the scouting report tonight, right? I mean, bottom of the order did a lot of damage yesterday. And again tonight. A walk and a base hit and then a home run. All with 2 outs.
And Hamels slices one into left field. The pitcher has 2 hits. Well, he can swing the bat between innings. We had a chance to catch up with Dale Swaim, the Brewers bench coach, about Hamels' performance on the mound.
Well, I mean, he's always tough. I mean, he's got a great changeup. You know, he varies it from 93 to, you know, he threw a changeup tonight 70 miles an hour. So when you get 23 miles off your fastball, you're going to be tough. And he's got such great arm motion. He mixes in a curveball, and he throws 90, then he gets it to 93. I mean, he's one of the best there is in baseball. I mean, he didn't strike out 15 guys for no reason. So, I mean, he's tough.
Dale, thanks.
Now, particularly, you know, we were talking about that high fastball. When you have to be aware of that low changeup, that changeup down in the strike zone, and then he changes the eye level on you as a hitter, throwing that high fastball at 93. I mean, that's tough. And he throws strikes with everything.
And big praise from the Brewer bench coach for Hamels, one of the best in baseball. He calls the young 23-year-old. Line drive to Hart. He's got it. Hamels quickly back to first.
Well, one thing's for sure, Jeff Suppan cannot allow any more runs with the way Hamels is throwing the baseball. As you mentioned, it's going to be tough enough, but his job right there, Jeff Suppan, is to put up zeros the rest of the way. He's due up third in the top of the 6th inning, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Brewers elect to do.
Shane Victorino will bat with 1 out and a runner at first. Saw Suppan make a throw over to first base a moment ago on Hamels. And the boos came raining down. Obviously, Hamels not a threat to go, but that's one thing Suppan does. And, you know, you talked about the hitters disrupting the pitcher's timing. Suppan will throw over to first on occasion to return the favor to the offense.
Man, if we had time, I was going to ask Dale about that specific situation with a guy like Hamels wanting to throw, get it and get it back into the catcher's glove so quick. He likes to work fast. No, step out, call time. You know, adjust the batting gloves a little bit, frustrate him a little bit.
Ball and 2 strikes on Shane Victorino. Suppan at 5-3. And start number 9 here tonight for the Brewers. Has decisions in all 8 starts. Started the year 0-2, then won 5 straight. That streak was snapped his last time out against the Mets. Suppan will not pitch on the homestand. It'll be Capuano, Bush, and Vargas against the Twins at Miller Park. That means Suppan will pitch the opener most likely against the Dodgers. On the ground to Weeks, flips it to Hardy, and no chance to get the speedy Victorino. So 2 outs now as Hamels is cut down at second.
And maybe make him run the bases a little bit, tire himself out. Anything you can to get on base against this guy. Let's see what he does in the stretch. He hasn't pitched out of the stretch yet.
Well, Jimmy Rollins taking his time to get into the box, giving his pitcher a chance for a breather in the dugout. 2 outs for Rollins with Victorino at first. Always a threat to steal. Victorino has 14 stolen bases this year. Third best in the National League. He has been quite a spark plug this season for the Phillies. Now hitting a spot ahead of Jimmy Rollins. Rollins doubled in a run back in the first and then scored. Jimmy Rollins gives a lot of credit to Tony Gwynn for his hitting approach. Spent a couple of off seasons with Tony Gwynn Sr. And he and Tony Gwynn Jr. are good friends, having spent a couple of years together. Tony every year brings in some major leaguers. He said, I was talking to Tony about it, he said they don't really hit much. They take some balls off the tee, they'll take some soft toss. They do a lot of talking though.
Well, the philosophy of hitting, what to look for when, and what your, what best is, your approach. What's best for each individual hitter. The mechanics are there once you're at the big league level. It's all a matter of your mental makeup once you get up there to the plate.
It was interesting that Tony Gwynn Jr., we were talking about Rollins, and while he was going through this process with the Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn, he wasn't really grasping it. But then before last season, he called and said, I got it. Tony, I got it. I finally figured out what you're talking about.
Yeah, it clicked in.
And he's not giving that secret up. He's keeping that one to himself. Victorino takes off. Rollins in the air. Long run for Graffinino. Has room. And Graffinino makes the catch for the outside, retired. So Suppan has put up 3 straight zeros. It's 5-0 Phillies. Cole Hamels has retired 15 in a row.
Well, today's Tavern of the Game winner is Lakeshore Lanes in Shawano, Wisconsin. If the Tavern Contact calls the Brewers. By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Now Damian Miller leads off for the Brewers, down 5-0 on Cole Hamels. And if you're just joining us, you might want to stick around. Hamels has retired 15 straight with 7 strikeouts.
The Brewers have only gotten 1 ball out of the infield. That was J.J. Hardy, a fly to right.
Miller, Graffinino, and the pitcher spot due up in the sitting. And we'll see if Suppan will be hitting for himself. Unlikely here, especially if anybody gets on base. And especially when you see Carlos Villanueva getting loose. And tight to Miller. 3 balls and a strike. Hitters count for Miller. And he drops one in there.
How about that? 5-0, and he threw him a changeup on 3-1.
Man.
That takes some guts, doesn't it?
A 3-1 changeup. And now the 3-2. On the ground, slow roller. Coming in is Rollins. 16 in a row. And this place is getting energized right now.
Yeah, another changeup for Cole Hamels. Well, not just a fastball that he feels comfortable in throwing strikes, is it?
Well, Ned Yost, last night he was ejected from the ball game. He and Larry Vanover going toe-to-toe. One of the best arguments we've seen all year, but of course the Philly fanatic having a little fun with Larry Vanover between innings. So much different night tonight for the umpire. Graffinino pops it up, foul territory. Ruiz in and out of his glove. And we'll see if they call that one an error. Unlikely here.
No way.
Especially into this scenario.
Well, that would have been a great catch. Kid got there, but he couldn't hold on to it. Some part of that play is for a catcher getting the mask off, realizing where it is. That'll be a no play.
Wouldn't dare put an error on the board. 0-1 the count on Graffinino. Well, you think about how much confidence Hamels has in that changeup to throw it 3-1 to Miller.
Yeah, with a perfect game going.
Just missed. 2-1 to count. There's that changeup again. In the air again. Will it stay playable? Dobbs coming over. And he runs out of room. That one off the top of the dugout. So another 2-strike count. Hamels struck out the side of the first. Got 1 strikeout in the second. 2 in the third. 1 in the fourth. 7 total. 2-2 to Tony Graffinino. Strikeout number 8. 17 in a row.
Yeah, another changeup. Good location down in the strike zone. And Tony out in front.
And Suppan will hit for himself here.
Well, why not? 2 outs, nobody on. And nothing but left-handed hitters other than Johnny Estrada on the bench.
Fastball missed, ball and a strike. So Suppan has given up 2 hits to Hamels at the plate. See if he can return the favor here in the 6th. 1-2. Crowd here at Citizens Bank Park sensing something special here tonight as Hamels has retired 17 in a row. 2 outs in the top of the 6th. Suppan hanging in there. Suppan giving Hamels a tough at-bat. Trying to scratch one out. No Brewer's been able to do it so far. To the right side. Nice play, Dobbs. He'll take it himself. 18 in a row retired by Hamels. He's got a perfect game through 6. 5-0 Phillies.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on FSN Wisconsin is presented by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Miller Lite. 4-time winner of the World Beer Cup Gold, Miller Lite. Good call.
Well, tonight's Midwest Airlines best care in the air crew in the community, and the Brewers, J.J. Hardy and Prince Fielder, the top home run and RBI duo in the league, at a photo shoot earlier today here in Philadelphia for Sports Illustrated. They are recognizing 2 of the young rising stars who are taking over the league in many offensive categories so far on the season. Midwest Airlines, the official airline of the Milwaukee Brewers, and the fun outside of baseball continues for Milwaukee. They're going to take care of matters first here at Philly, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig. 5-0 the Brewers trail the Phillies, and Cole Hamels has retired 18 straight and not getting the silent treatment in that Philly dugout right now.
Too early. Another couple innings, maybe he'll get it. When you get through the 7th inning and all of a sudden you start getting that feeling that, you know, the catcher and the pitcher, I think a perfect game might be a little bit different there. Pacing around, I mean, that's not a guy that's, you know, relaxing with a 5-0 lead.
Jeff Suppan back on the mound, and Utley into center field. Hall takes it on a bounce. Thought about diving for it. Instead holds Utley to a single. That's the 2nd hit of the ball game for Chase Utley.
You know, the guys in the Phillies dugout aren't seeking Hamels out right now and talking with him, but if he comes up to you and asks you a question or has some fun, you can't blow him off. You got to respond, but those guys, you're going to leave him alone if that's what he wants.
Now, and I remember Mark Burley's no-hitter earlier this year for the White Sox. He said after he threw the no-hitter that he was talking to as many people as he could between innings. He was looking for somebody to talk to.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it too much.
Pat Burrell with a runner at first and nobody out. The Phillies have had at least one hit in each inning tonight. They got 2 in the first, 2 unearned runs in that first inning against Suppan. Pat Burrell had an RBI double in that first. And then Aaron Rowan hit a 3-run homer in the second, representing the Phillies scoring tonight. A 2 spot in the first and then 3 runs in the second.
And you hate to have it the way it happened with, as you mentioned, 2 unearned runs in the first inning, that J.J. Hardy error, and then after 2 are out, a walk to the number 8 hitter and a hit by the pitcher, and then comes Rowan along to hit that 3-run homer.
Suppan has put 3 scoreless innings on the board since that second, and a big rip from Pat Burrell. 2-1 to count. Don't forget Brewers Live coming up after this one. And Carol in our FSN Wisconsin studios will have the complete post-game story for you. And hopefully the Brewers can get something going against Cole Hamels. Brewers have lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 out of 5 on this road trip. Panasonic Plasma pitch speed for Suppan as high as 91 and as low as 72 with that off-speed pitch. As Dale Swaim mentioned, Hamels has been as high as 94 and as low as 71. Burrell draws the walk. 2 on for the Phillies here in the 6th. Second walk allowed by Suppan. Bullpen is quiet for now. Mike Maddox on his way to the mound.
It's not going to take long for Villanueva to get ready. He was probably ready when he was up in the last inning. So it's not going to take many pitches for Villanueva to get going.
Ed Yost making the call. And it'll be Elmer DeSenz who will begin to get loose.
I guess they had Villanueva up just in case the Brewers got something going in the top of the inning. Scored some runs and got a little bit closer, but since it's still 5-0, it's going to be Elmer DeSenz.
Suppan's pitch count still in good shape, but the first 2 have reached here in the 6th inning. He has 83 pitches through 5+. And when you consider what Cole Hamels is doing tonight, interesting decision here for Ned Yost. Set to go with Greg Dobbs. Suppan has struck him out twice in this game. 2 of the 4 Suppan strikeouts.
And you would figure Suppan be pretty fresh, as we mentioned. He only threw 74 pitches in his last outing.
Dobbs into the lineup. And Ryan Howard went on the DL, and boy, has he delivered. He hit a home run last night, his 2nd of the year. Getting the chance to play first base for the Phillies with Ryan Howard out with that quad injury. And with nothing but right-handed starters for the Brewers, Dobbs getting a lot of playing time in this series. On the ground right side, fielder bobbles. Had a chance at a double play. Snap throw to first by Weeks, not in time. Well, the Brewers went from having a chance to turn 2 to getting none at all.
And that was the problem for Prince. I think he was thinking about the throw before he had the ball in his glove and ended up getting nobody. So the bases are loaded. Try to be a little bit too quick to second base. I mean, a 2-hopper. And as he was trying to turn to make the throw, he dropped it and then kicked it.
second error of the ball game for the Brewers. Hardy committed one in the first that led to a couple of runs. And now the bases loaded, nobody out, and Abraham Nunez at the plate on the ground. Fielder under his glove. And Ricky Weeks can't handle it. Everybody's safe with a run in. Oh, boy.
How do you score that one? Can't be a base hit, can it?
Now, once Fielder didn't come up with it, there was no chance to get Nunez. He had already beaten Suppan to the bag.
Well, if there's an error, it's got to be there. You can't charge Ricky Weeks with an error, I don't think. But if Ricky Weeks is able to barehand it, he might be able to get Nunez at first if Suppan was able to get there.
Well, it's going to go down as a base hit and an RBI.
That's a base hit.
Infield single, says the official score.
Wow.
RBI makes it 6-0. And Carlos Ruiz.
Not sure how you can justify giving a guy a base hit on a ball like that. But he did.
Suppan trying to grind it out here in the 6th. A run is in. And for now, an unearned run. It could change as Ruiz takes a rip. Unable to check his swing, and it's 0-2. Bases loaded, full of Phillies. Nobody out. Two Brewer errors in this game. One by Hardy and one by Fielder. Suppan trying the breaking ball against Ruiz.
Needs that ground ball. The Brewers with the infield back with nobody out. Trying to get the double play. If you get a hard hit ball in the corners, you might come home.
Now the Brewers lost on Monday night, a comeback win by the Phillies, and then it was Ruiz last night with a walk-off home run. Phillies are a game shy, a win shy of 500 after that terrible start. On the ground, Graffinino steps on the bag at third, got a play at the plate. Miller puts the tag on, so a double play. And the Phillies don't get a run.
Yeah, well done by Tony Graffinino. I mean, that was an easy out at third, and then able to make the throw to home plate. Damian Miller put the tag on him because the force was eliminated. Now, there's a break. Too bad that didn't happen when Nunez was at plate. Well, Tony Graffinino grabs it, and on his way to home plate just steps on third, and Damian has to tag him at home.
So first and second with two gone for the Phillies. And Suppan facing the pitcher Cole Hamels, who has 2 hits in this game. And a roll at a fielder will retire the side. So Suppan gets out of a big bases loaded, nobody out jam. 1 run does come in, an unearned run, and now Hamels back on the mound with a perfect game.
Hey, Brewer fans in Milwaukee, Green Bay, and Wausau, let Pizza Hut take you out to the ball game now until May 20th. When you buy any large pizza, you score a voucher for a free Brewers ticket. Eat a pizza, get free ticket, only at Pizza Hut, America's favorite pizza.
Well, big story in baseball is right here in Philadelphia right now, as Cole Hamels has retired 18 straight Brewers with 8 strikeouts as we head to the 7th. Top of the order, Ricky Weeks, J.J. Hardy, and Prince Fielder. Hamels has only been to a 3-ball count, I believe, 3 times in this game.
And once it was a 3-1 count to Damian Miller, and he threw back-to-back changeups.
And got Miller on a ground out. Hamels has a strikeout in every inning with the exception of the 5th. Started the game by striking out the side. Falls behind Ricky Weeks 2-0. And a big crowd here in Philadelphia, fully aware of what's going on, with a tremendous buzz in the ballpark trying to encourage their left-hander. And now it's 3-0. Hamels has had 4 3-ball counts in this game and make it 5 now.
I'll take a couple. Maybe he'll walk you and see how he pitches out of the stretch tonight.
Three and 1. '23-year-old Cole Hamels. And the 3-1 to Weeks, and it's strike 2, and Weeks can't believe it.
Oh, that's a good pitch. Nothing wrong with that pitch.
So a full count for the 5th time in this game. Right down the pipe. And Ricky fouls it off. Weeks struck out in the 1st and then grounded to 3rd back in the 4th inning. On their feet in Philadelphia here in the 7th. Lead man up for the Brewers. Ball 4, and the perfect game ends.
Well, there you go.
As Ricky Weeks reaches, and an appreciative crowd. Next order of business for them to encourage their left-hander to keep the no-hitter intact.
I'll tell you what, the infielders, I would imagine, breathed a sigh of relief. When you got a guy out there in a perfect game in the 7th inning, infielder's a little bit tight. That glove stiffens up just a little bit. You don't want to be the guy to make the error to break up that perfect game.
And you caught the only no-hitter in Brewers history back in '87. What was going through your mind during that Juan Nieves gym?
Well, it certainly was far from a perfect game. I mean, Juan was a little bit wild that day, walked a bunch of guys, but did not give up a base hit. But it was about this time where, you think about it, it was a close game up until about the 6th or 7th, and we were able to tack on some runs. I think at the end it was 7-0, but still in all, you get a little bit, you start worrying about it. You start thinking about it a little bit about the 7th, 8th inning.
When you think about this scenario here with Hamels, a second-year pitcher in the big leagues and a rookie catcher behind the plate. And Carlos Ruiz. Haven't seen Hamels shake off a lot tonight, and for the first time in this game, Hamels works from the stretch. 2-0 on Hardy.
And that's a big thing. I mean, here we are, the 7th inning, and the first time he hasn't been in the windup. Mechanics a lot different. See if the Brewers can get something going here.
And Hardy pulls one foul into left field. 2 balls, 1 strike. The only perfect game thrown in Philadelphia history and franchise history, Jim Bunning. He did it back in '64 when he beat New York 6-0.
Yeah, that was on Father's Day. Pretty nice present, huh?
Hall of Famer Jim Bunning. Weeks into left field. Back goes Burrell. And Pat Burrell looks up, and J.J. Hardy with 1 swing of the bat has eliminated the no-hitter and the shutout. And the Brewers put a 2-spot on the board. Hardy with his league-leading 13th home run of the year.
Yeah, enough of that nonsense. They put that to bed. Good job by Ricky Weeks working the count to get a walk, and JJ puts one in the seats. So once again, the Brewers with the long ball. They've been doing a lot of that. This time with the man on.
Now Prince Fielder with the bases empty takes a mighty rip. J.J. Hardy continues with the home run swing. This time eliminating a no-hitter with nobody out here in the 7th, and now the Brewers trying to go to work. Down 4.
Well, the good news is that the Brewers got 2 runs. The bad news is Cole Hamels now once again in the windup.
Hardy with home run number 13, best in the league, and 39 RBIs, also best in the league. 0-2 the count remains on Fielder.
Place got quiet, didn't it?
Very quiet. They gave him a big round of applause as Hardy was rounding the bases even. Hamels has a complete game this year. A 15 strikeout performance against the Reds in Cincinnati. He's won 3 straight games here in May and 5-1 overall. As Fielder goes into right field, that one is a mile high. Victorino at the wall, and he makes a catch for the out. Fielder just missed it.
Yes, sir.
First out of the inning.
Well, a millimeter. He centers on that just a little bit more. That's another homer.
You mentioned Hamels gives up the long balls. That home run by Hardy, his 8th allowed this year. And this is his 9th start.
And back-to-back starts, he's given up more than 1 home run.
Billy Hall will bat with 1 out.
Now check that. That's not right. Only given up 1 so far. I was thinking Prince Fielders was gone.
Just by a fraction.
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
Hall takes strike 1. Cole Hamels retires 18 in a row before he walks Ricky Weeks. And then J.J. Hardy, a 2-run homer. And the Brewers are down 4 with Hall batting and 1 out, nobody on. And it's quickly 1-2 on Hall.
And you get a guy out there with a perfect game through 6 innings and he gives up that walk. Maybe a bit of a letdown. We'll see how Hamels handles it. He gave up the home run after the walk and a deep fly ball to right.
Now the Brewers lead the league in runs scored. And in this ballpark, there's always that chance to come back. The Phillies proved that 2 nights ago as Hall strikes out. Went up the ladder with a fastball. That's number 9 for Cole Hamels.
High fastballs, low changeups. And Cole Hamels right back at it after the home run.
Well, I think you're right, partner. You got to get this guy in the stretch right now. He is in the rocking chair from the windup. Mensch going after the first pitch. Falls behind. Into right field, slicing away from Victorino, and that ball will drop, and it is a foul ball by inches.
Well, it looked like it hit the line. Tom Hallion right on top of it. He was right there. Didn't miss that line by much.
Oh, man.
Pretty close. Couldn't see Dobbs was in the way.
Very close. It looked like it caught a little white, but as you said, Dobbs was blocking the view. Hallion was right on top of it. So no balls and 2 strikes on Kevin Mensch.
Boy, pretty good eyes. First base umpire.
The 0-2. And it just missed. A ball and 2 strikes on Mensch. Mensch has put the ball in play twice on Hamels. Grounded out to second in the 2nd inning. And then rolled out to short in the 5th. 1-2. And down goes Mensch. So Cole Hamels gives up the 2-run home run to J.J. Hardy. But comes back with 2 strikeouts to win the inning. He's got 10 through 7. I want to remind you about the new walk-off Wednesdays. Every Wednesday home game through the 4th inning, fans can buy their favorite Brewers name number t-shirt. You save $5, and if that player hits a walk-off home run, get an autographed baseball bat. Visit the Fan Zone next time you're at Miller Park to learn more. Walk-off Wednesdays at Miller Park.
It'll be a while before the Brewers are home on a Wednesday.
And our buddy John Taylor down there selling a lot of merchandise these days at Miller Park.
Yeah.
A lot of Jeff Suppan jerseys. Suppan back out there as he starts the 7th. It is 6-2 Philadelphia.
They got to wait till May 30th against the Braves.
Cole Hamels had a perfect game through 6 in this game. He walked Ricky Weeks to lead off the 7th. And then J.J. Hardy, the next man up, hit a 2-run homer. But then Hamels got the next 3 in order with 2 strikeouts. And the Brewers down 4 with Suppan trying to stretch it through the 7th inning here. Aaron Rowan leads off. Fielder with a nice play. And he'll take it himself for the first out. Brewers have struggled defensively in this game. Fielder has an error, as does J.J. Hardy.
Yeah, Prince probably should have 2 errors tonight. Official scorer very generously giving Abraham Nunez a hit and an RBI on a ball that Prince should have had.
One thing the Brewers have done well this year is play defense. They've really limited their errors, which was a big key coming off last season. The Brewers committing a ton of errors in 2006, and certainly a point of emphasis. Obviously, with J.J. Hardy back, the defense tightening up. But Ricky Weeks has been the story at second base. Only 1 error this year. This time last year, he had 12.
Yeah, coming into the game tonight, the Brewers tied for 4th in the National League in team fielding percentage. Doing a very good job of climbing the ladder after a shaky start.
That third base platoon of Graffinino and Counsell. Did that hit Victorino? It did. So a hit batter as Suppan drops a breaking ball down on the toes of Shane Victorino. One out base runner for the Phillies. They have put a man on in every inning tonight.
Yeah, Suppan's been able to turn 3 double plays tonight, or at least induce 3 double play balls tonight in back-to-back innings.
Brian Schaus beginning to get loose. Chase Utley, left-handed hitter, due up next. Switch hitter Rollins up now with 1 out. Rollins a tough guy to double up. And he drills one into right center. Bill Hall on the run, and Hall makes the catch. A sliding catch from Bill Hall. And back to first goes Victorino.
Well, he got a good jump on that one, didn't he? I'll tell you, Jimmy Rollins hit that one a ton. Brewers had him played pretty much straight up the middle. Billy had a long way to go. Got a good jump on it. And check out the throw. From his backside, able to throw a strike to Ricky. Almost got it to the infield from there. Pretty good arm.
Now, Bill Hall continues to be a great story in center field. He committed 4 errors early in the season, through the first couple of weeks of the season, but only 1 since. And he makes a nice running catch to retire Rollins. And that means Suppan is going to stay on to face Utley here. And Utley, a line drive right at J.J. Hardy, perfectly positioned. The Brewers shortstop on the other side of the bag at second, and Utley is retired, and Suppan puts a scoreless frame on the board. Here come the Brewers, down 4. Time now for the Menards game reset, game 3 of the series, Brewers Phillies, and the story, Cole Hamels retired the first 18 in this game. Bill?
Well, the first 3 strikeouts that he was able to register, all fastballs, getting Ricky Weeks, J.J. Hardy, and Prince Fielder. But since that time, it's been the changeups, been the strikeout pitch for him. He's got Prince Fielder a couple of times, and I'll tell you, nobody really has hit the ball hard except for J.J. Hardy. In the 7th inning, a 2-run shot after a Ricky Weeks walk.
The Weeks walk snapped the perfect game, and with one swing of the bat, the no-hitter and the shutout was gone as Hardy goes deep for his league-leading 13th time. And now we play in the 8th. The Brewers are down 4. And Cole Hamels, 1 ball, 1 strike on Corey Hart. And, excuse me, 1 and 2 on Hart. That one is strike 3, and Hart is gone, and that is the 11th strikeout of the ball game for Hamels. Michael Bourne comes into the game defensively for Pat Burrell.
Man, this is the first one looking. And that pitch just at the bottom of the strike zone, right at the knees.
That is now 70 strikeouts for Cole Hamels for the season, with his 11th here tonight, and the first pitcher to 70 Ks in the major leagues. Miller into center field. That one's pretty well hit. Rowan going back, still going back, and that one is one hopped out of here. A ground rule double for Damian Miller. Second hit of the ball game for the Brewers.
Well, Damian put a charge into that one, didn't he? Dead center field, and Aaron Rowan, who plays relatively shallow, couldn't get back and get it. So a 1-out double for Milwaukee. Well, how about another one? Maybe somebody pop one now and get back into this ball game.
Kind of like you're saying, though. Maybe just a rip of singles here to keep Hamels in the stretch.
Yeah, keep him in the stretch. I mean, last time he was in the stretch, he gave up the homer, right?
And Graffinino will bat. Suppan spot due up next. And it looks like it'll be Johnny Estrada, who has moved into the on-deck circle.
The only right-handed hitter available on the bench.
Brewers trying to do to the Phillies what the Phillies did to Milwaukee 2 nights ago. Come back in the 8th. The Brewers had a 4-run lead going into the bottom of the 8th on Monday night. The Phillies scored 6 times and won the ball game 8-6. Hardy's 2-run homer in the 7th inning made it a 4-run game, and now Miller at second for Graffinino. Back to Hamels. He checks on Miller. 2 gone. Now Dale Swaim called Cole Hamels one of the best in the big leagues.
Well, he's certainly been pitching like it tonight, hasn't he? I don't think anybody's going to give him any argument.
Johnny Estrada announced. Estrada hit a big home run last night. It was a game tire in the 9th. Phillies would win it in the bottom of the 9th on a walk-off homer by Ruiz. As Suppan, his night is complete. 7 innings, grinds it out.
Yeah, he is a battler, isn't he? Who would have thought that after the first 2 innings he would have been able to stay out there for 7?
Gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. And that is important because you go deep into a ball game, you save that bullpen a little bit. Brewers are on a long stretch of games here. They don't have a day off until next week, next Thursday, as Estrada fouls one to the right side, and it's Dobbs to make the play. Brewers get a 1-out double, but Hamels too tough right now. He has 11 strikeouts, and he's got a 6-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-2, the Phillies lead the Brewers as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Some action in that Phillies bullpen. Cole Hamels has been outstanding through 8. Carsoup.com email the booth question tonight. How often do bullpen pitchers need to throw in games to remain fresh? Patty from Port Washington.
Well, they got it all depends on the pitcher. I mean, everybody's different, but you'd certainly like to get your guys like, you know, Matt Wise and Turnbow and Cordero at least every 3rd day. You don't want them sitting out there very long.
U.S. Cellular call to the pen as Carlos Villanueva comes on for Jeff Suppan, who goes 7.
Now, Villanueva's been outstanding. Matty Wise said in an interview yesterday that he's probably the MVP of that bullpen. That's a stretch, but he's still throwing the baseball pretty well, sucking up a lot of innings for that group out there. And Ned Yost doing a nice job.
And 3 wins for the Brewers. And he has won some pivotal games, maybe one of the most pivotal games of the year came against the Cubs in that 12-inning victory when the Brewers were down 4 against Zambrano. It was Villanueva who pitched 4 innings in that game and picked up the win. Michael Bourne leads off. He came in defensively for Pat Burrell last inning, so hitting in Burrell's spot.
You know, Francisco Cordero on the homestand, I think it was he threw 5 consecutive days, 5 or 6. I know he had 5 saves in that stretch, but he hasn't pitched since Wednesday. So you have to wonder how sharp he's going to be when he gets in there.
Yeah, wouldn't the Brewers love to find out?
I mean, that's a long time, though. That's a week. That's a long time to have a layoff.
Well, and you saw, remember, Brian Schaus and Derek Turnbow had not pitched since Wednesday in that opener, and both were very shaky. Bourne draws the walk. Villanueva, a leadoff walk allowed here in the 8th. Brewers can't afford to give up any more.
I would imagine if it wasn't for the day game tomorrow, it's a 3 o'clock start here in Philly. Very strange start time, but I'm surprised that Cordero didn't get an inning tonight. Been a long layoff.
Greg Dobbs will hit for the Phillies. Reached on an error in the 6th inning. He's 0 for 3 in this game. Cole Hamels, the Phillies starter, due to hit 5th in this inning. Interesting to see if he comes back out for the 9th. We saw action in that Philly bullpen. Dobbs with a couple of strikeouts on his card. Suppan got him twice. 2 of 4 Suppan strikeouts. Phillies scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings. 2 unearned runs in the first. And then a 3-run homer by Aaron Rowand in the 2nd. Added 1 in the 6th. Brewers' only runs came in the 7th when J.J. Hardy hit a 2-run home run to wipe out the no-hitter in the shutout with 1 swing of the bat.
Yeah, what's new, right? JJ getting it done.
Hit his 13th home run of the year in the 7th. And has now driven in 39, both at the top of the National League leaderboard. Ball and a strike on Dobbs. All zeros for the Brewers until that 7th. And now 4 runs to make up with only 3 outs to work with. Villanueva trying to make sure it stays at 4.
No, and you can't be home to watch your Brewers on FSN Wisconsin. Check out MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live, catch those you've missed on demand, or listen to every radio broadcast live. For more details, go to Brewers.com, where baseball is always on.
Ball and 2 strikes on Greg Dobbs, the Philly first baseman, as Bourne takes off, and no chance at a throw for Miller. As for the appeal, Larry Vanover rings him up. So a strikeout for Villanueva, and the 3rd time Dobbs retired on strikes in this game. And credit Bourne with a stolen base. Phillies have had a base runner in every single inning in this game. And now a runner in scoring position once again. Villanueva facing Abraham Nunez. Nunez has 2 hits and an RBI. Nunez has been a utility player for Charlie Manuel, but getting a chance to play a lot, and we've seen him start at 3rd in every game of this series. Phillies are a little banged up which is why they are so excited about this run of games here. They have won 5 of their last 6. They're without their closer, Tom Gordon. And of course, we chronicled Ryan Howard, who is on the DL for at least another 9 days. But yet, they're winning ball games.
And Nunez is in there at third base to shore up the defense, because Wes Helms, who was getting some playing time, has 6 errors already at third base and very limited activity.
Helms had the go-ahead RBI Monday night when he hit one off the wall against Turnbow in that 6-run Philly inning. Helms, the former Brewer. He's played a little at first as well, but with the right-handed starters for the Brewers, it's been Dobbs. Nunez at the plate with a runner at second and Bourne. 3 balls and a strike. Ned Yost had to make a big decision coming out of spring training on whether to keep Villanueva or not. I guess the decision really came down to probably the last 2 weeks of spring training, because he pitched so well. There was no doubt Ned was going to be able to use him. As Nunez rolls out on the play, Bourne advances.
Yeah, that was a foregone conclusion. I think with about 2.5 weeks left in spring training, the decision came down to Aquino or Capian, and neither one of them with the Brewers right now.
Aquino's on the DL as Francisco Cordero begins to get loose.
You got to get that guy some work. It's been too long. You certainly don't want to have him go out there with a 1-run lead in the 9th, having not pitched for over a week.
Well, unless the Brewers put at least 4 runs on the board and tie the game, if it stays at 6, Cordero will not have a chance to pitch here tonight. (2-0) the count on Carlos Ruiz. Well, Ned's thinking about something in that dugout. Talking it over with Maddox. On the ground to third, that's foul. Ruiz just hooks over it. I just wonder if there's any talk about putting Cordero in the game.
No, he's not throwing, looking like he's getting ready to get in there. I mean, he just loosened up the arm. Doesn't take him long, but he doesn't look like he's getting ready.
2-1 on the rookie catcher Ruiz. Broken bat to short. J.J. Hardy takes care of him, and Carlos Villanueva with a scoreless inning. So the Brewers down to their last 3 outs. They trail by 4. They got the top of the order coming up.
We will get you back to Philly in just a moment, but be sure to keep it right here on FSN Wisconsin for complete post-game coverage. It comes your way right after the game. But for now, the conclusion of this one with Brian and Bill from Citizens Bank Park.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on FSN Wisconsin is presented by your local Toyota dealer, moving you forward.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club.
No, great outing by Cole Hamels. Not enough you can say about the way that young man went about it today. 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. That walk came around to score. Had a perfect game through 6. 114 pitches. That's why he's not finishing this one here tonight. And Brett Myers on for the 3rd consecutive night. He has a save and a win in this series.
Yeah, Myers blew the save last night when Estrada went deep. And now the Brewers were the top of their order. Down 4 runs, 6-2. And Weeks leading off an inning for the 4th time in this game.
And Charlie Manuel not messing around, bringing his closer in a 4-run lead, not a save situation. He realizes the Brewers can get on the board quickly.
Well, Manuel certainly understands this ballpark and how runs can be scored. Quickly 0-2 on Weeks. Brewers need base runners. Down 4 in the 9th. And the new Philadelphia closer. Did he go? They ask. Yes, he did, says the base umpire Hallion. And Ricky Weeks has gone on strikes. Well, J.J. Hardy back in the 7th. The Kawasaki let the good times roll. As Hardy with 13 home runs on the year, he broke up the no-hitter and the shutout with one swing of the bat in that 7th inning.
Well, that's a quick bat inside, isn't it? That ball didn't even look like it was a strike, and he not only was able to keep it fair, but hit it hard enough without getting big extension and rode it out of here.
0-1 to Hardy. And quickly 0-2. One thing Myers does, he throws strikes. And that's why he has been so effective in that closer's role. He began the year as a starter, made 3 starts for the Phillies. But when Tom Gordon went down, that shoulder injury, Charlie Manuel had to go pilfer his starting rotation for a closer. And Myers has fit right in. There's not a lot of guys who can make that transition, but Myers has excelled so far.
Yeah, Charlie Manuel might have found something, right?
Two and 2 the count on J.J. Hardy. Fielder would be next. Brewers need 3 base runners as Hardy pops this one up. Rollins, 2 outs. Milwaukee down to their final out here in the 9th. And timed out for the Panasonic Plasma Speed of Sports. Cole Hamels, plenty of speed and change of speeds, the order of business tonight. Had a perfect game through 6. Retired the first 18.
And 94 miles per hour down to 70.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it looks the same coming out of his hand.
It's like Doug.
Fielder, the last hope for the Brewers. Final game of the series tomorrow as Ben Sheets will toe the rubber.
Yeah, how bad do the Brewers need a good start from Benny? Had a good start in New York.
Two 2-1 to Prince. Evens the count at 2-2. And the Brewers down to the last strike. Nearly 43,000 in attendance here tonight on Ryan Howard bobblehead night. And Fielder has gone on strikes, and this game ends just like it started. 13 strikeouts in the game for Phillies pitchers. Hamels had 11. Myers comes in a 3-up, 3-down save with 2 punch-outs, and Philadelphia has now won 6 of 7. And they are at 500, 20-20 on the year after that 1-6 start. 6-2, the Phillies win it. The Brewers have now lost 4 straight and 5 of 6 on the road trip. Tonight's Dodge player of the game is Cole Hamels. 8 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, and of course he was perfect through 6. Still more to come. Brewers Live coming your way as we send it to Ann Carroll in our FSN Wisconsin studios.
All right, thanks guys. Your Brewers coverage continuing here on FSN Wisconsin. Keep it right here. Brewers Live comes your way next. We've got a whole lot in store for you. We've got player reaction. We'll hear from the managers, as well as break down that great night by Cole Hamels and talk about Jeff Supon's outing as well. Plus, take a spin around the rest of the National League. It all comes your way coming up on Brewers Live, but your Brewers lose tonight. It's a 6-2 final. They have now dropped 4 in a row, their longest losing streak of the season. Brewers Live starts right after this here on FSN Wisconsin.